Good evening. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us today. Honorable Knowledge Seeker, today I am your host for the evening. My name is Badul Das. I am from Bangladesh. Dear Knowledge Seeker, I am proud to be associated with IGP. IGP is a social and certified international educational and training institute. In last 3 years, we already served 35 million plus knowledge seeker from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 450 plus profession and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professional is an education institute that provides social work globally recognized and reputable. We serve student and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one skill just by according formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate professional generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, nationally, internationally to student, job seeker, job holder, and also for learners to respective campus location and distance learning platform. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product; it's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminar courses, award, quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 premium services for free, like Create Own Portfolio website, Resume Builder, Cover Letter, Motivation Letter, and One Knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge which can update all day. Kids Learning Game, website, free course, convert sites, and many more. We help prepare you to learn to meet their expectation and dream and become highly skilled people. We implement several training program, webinar and offline online courses for youth and learner by professional trainer, speaker and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kind of youth and promote the education of their abilities and personalities. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice method. We must have a genuine concern for the learner we represent. More diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead a session with professionalism and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill level and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. The support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. The support very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support. We already completed 1,724 webinars successfully. Moving to the next, with your continuous support. We already completed 1,724 webinars successfully. Dear IGP speaker, participant, and will be shared at this moment. This is a very important message for you all. We change and design our website www.edigp.com. On this website, we have surprise for everyone. Hope you will benefit it. We already launched our new website where you can find all our previous activities together with lots of new features. But one strong point is that without an account or login, you cannot enjoy our services. So create your account for once with profile information. Note that with profile information, you will enjoy our feature. With business data, you cannot do anything here. From now on, you have to participate in live quiz competition on our website. We replace that. You have to join directly on our website. Now you can check our previous with verified e-certificate. Now it's easier and time oriented because after the session, we will not provide you any code for certification. You have to take part in one exam. After that, if you pass, you'll receive your certificate, otherwise not. But you can take part in an exam unlimited till you pass. If you are an IGP speaker, you can download all your previous certificate, speaker certificate. If you are a host of IGP, you can download a certificate of that. If you are an online life quiz competition winner, you can download a certificate of participation. If you are selected for lifetime membership, then you can download a certificate of lifetime membership easily. Besides this, if you participate in any award function which organizes combined support with IGP, you can download that also. You can actually prepare and download 18 types of research certificate from our website within minutes. Certificate of global professional membership, certificate of global influence in the pandemic, certificate of active knowledge, certificate of social activities in the pandemic, certificate of achievement IGP knowledge in campaign 2020, 2021, and 2022, certificate of participation webinar series 1, authentic accessible in teaching learning, certificate of participation webinar series 2, teaching English as a foreign language and assessment, certificate of participation webinar series 3, digital classroom engagement tools, certificate of participation webinar series 4, the new trend in education. Certificate of participation webinar series 5, upskilling online management skill certificate of participation webinar series 6, trend and innovation in mathematics education. Certificate of participation webinar series 7, research comprehension approach. Certificate of participation webinar series 8, art in teaching a special program in the art. Certificate of participation webinar series 9, 21st century student teaching mathematics. Certificate of IGP Corporate Ambassador, Certificate of IGP Campus Ambassador, which you can prepare and download within a minute. From now on, you can participate in 1,000 plus international level quiz with verified certificate. Teaching tips for teacher, health tips for parents, health tips for teens, education tools for teacher. You can join IGP alumni. You can check out our 50 student service website for free and many more. Dear IGP will be sure we promised previously, but layout typical problem while late sending you on time. This is a great opportunity to collect reference and share the solve solution from our website. Now you can enroll, reset password, everything. You can check the report for all of the details. It's a product request to check all button and pages on our website. You will like and say you will benefited. Thank you, but note that without an account or logged in, you cannot enjoy our services. Today at present, we are going to start our 1725, which name is Exploring the Greek Educational System, and today our speaker ma'am name is Rania Lampau. She is from Greece. Before I hand over the stage to our speaker ma'am, I want to share a very little bit about her. Ministry of Education and Religious Affairs Greece, Global Educationist, author, speaker, researcher, global pitch, ambassador, IGP, director, Greece. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. I would like to congratulate IGP for the great work you're doing constantly with a numerous and wide variety, multitude of programs and training courses. And thank you very much for your kind invitation.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, please present your presentation. Okay, ma'am, the stage is yours.
It's visible. Can you see also the change of slides?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm Rania Lampau from Greece. Warm greetings. I'm a global educator, STEM instructor. Actually, I'm working at the Greek Ministry of Education, the Directorate of Educational Technology and Innovation, where I'm writing a STEM project for Greek schools. And today I will try to give an overview of the Greek educational system, its structure, its key characteristics, its main reforms, latest reforms, but at the same time its challenges. So I will try to present how the Greek government, of course, handled online learning during the COVID pandemic and how the infrastructure of the so-called HERE digital school was updated. Furthermore, I will also refer to the educational system for refugee children if we have time, and children also with special education needs. So we have a lot to say. Greek educational system in the ancient Greece. In Greece, education has always played a significant role. Greek education focused heavily on training the entire person, which included education of the mind, body, and imagination in ancient Greece. And many people agree that formal education has its roots in ancient Greece with Aristotle, with Hippocrates, and then passed to other civilizations. Why? Because they lay down foundations of subjects like philosophy, medicine, and mathematics that we use in modern times today. The idea of democracy and free thinking, that it was developed in Athens thousands of years ago. Its philosophy has continued to influence politics in the world today. So what was happening? A brief overview in ancient Greece. It is believed that prior to this, education in Greece was provided mainly through private tutors. And only a handful of Greeks could afford to educate their sons even during the 5th century before Jesus Christ. So the native of Athens started their education around the age of 7. There is not much information about what type of people were teachers at this time. However, it looks like they didn't enjoy much status, and in all probability, most of them were slaves this period. The syllabus comprised learning to read and write, physical training, some learning to use some musical instruments. Students use a pen called the stylus, with which they wrote on a wax tablet. So learning to memorize was an important part then of the education in Greece. And the most important was learning how to play musical instruments, especially for boys. Kithara, the lyre of Kithara was one of the most important musical instruments, like it was like the guitar of today. So, what was the education of boys? Boys of rich families in ancient Greece used to attend informal drinking parties, and it was an important part of growing up. When boys of rich families attained the age of 16 years old, they were sent for what can be called tertiary education. And there they were mainly taught rhetoric and philosophy. So, whosoever wanted to make a name for himself in the society, if he learned the subject, learning the subject was absolutely necessary for him. It was essentially to learn the essentials of rhetoric. If he wanted, for instance, to speak in political assemblies or courts, or if he wanted to be noticed at informal drinking parties, which were called the symposia in ancient Greece. And what happened with the education of girls? Girls were given the bare minimum education in Greece. Most of the girls were usually trained by their mothers or running the house and nothing beyond this. And the thinking about educating girls at this time is reflected in the line of a play of Menander, who says that those who teach girls are supplying poison to a snake. You can understand how bad the situation, how the condition of women in education was at this period. Because they thought that it was better not to educate girls because they thought that this would cause trouble. And even people of Athens who were supposed to be more knowledgeable than other Greek communities had the same thought process. So, if we talk about the modern now system of in Greece, the modern education system, it is mainly characterized by what we call versatile character, which is ordained by numerous laws and decrees of the Greek Ministry of Education and Religious Affairs. Now we have also this year after the election, we have integrated also sports domain. So over the years, the ministry in question has made significant changes to the education system, most of which were mandated by the wish of its government to adopt recent scientific findings in the acclaimed education models of other countries in the world. This has the positive points and this has the negative points. The positive points is, of course, that trying to be flexible and adapt, be adaptable to new changes, to new transformations is something which is positive, force for evolution, for radical reforms. But the negative point is there is no uniformity, there is no uniform educational policy. And this is a main disadvantage in Greece. What I'm trying to say is that every time that the new minister is elected, new policies are coming, new policies which are not, are not adapted smoothly to the new educational system. I mean, there is no continuity of policies. This is the negative point. There is no continuity. So adapting state-of-the-art research in the field of education as well as foreign education practices to meet the needs of the Greek society and labor market has resulted in a multi-layered education system, which caters for all students in the country. So most students in Greece attend public schools of all levels, for which there were no tuition fees. However, we have also a great number of students who enroll in private schools of all levels. So education system is centralized, governed by the ministry, and ministry exercises control over public schools, formulates and implements legislations, administers the budget, coordinates national level university entrance examinations, sets up the national curriculum, appoints public school teaching staff, and coordinates other services. The national supervisory role of the ministry is exercised through regional unit public education offices, which are named as regional directorates of primary and secondary school education. Public schools, their textbooks are funded by the government. And of course, public schools are tuition free. That's why also the textbooks also are given for free. Many of the postgraduate programs are for free, although the last years the majority are tuition fee and not free. The formal education in Greece comprises three educational stages. Here. The first stage of formal education, primary stage, which lasts for 6 years, starting at the age of 6 and ending at the age of 12 years old. The secondary stage, which is separated into two sub-stages, the compulsory gymnasium is what we call junior high school, which lasts 3 years, starting at the age of 12, and non-compulsory lyceum, it's the senior high school actually, which lasts 3 years, starting at the age of 15. The third stage involves higher education. And we have, at the same time, parallel with the formal system, we have private tutoring centers called from still, I think it's all around the world, what we call shadow educational system. And it's not good, of course, because parents and families have to pay a lot of money in order to support this kind of courses. Because if the quality of public schools was high, of course, we wouldn't need private tutoring centers. So these private tutoring centers called Frontisteria, which many countries all around the world, or what we call shadow education, this reveals, of course, the drawbacks of educational systems and the low quality sometimes of the education provided. Especially here in Greece, we have the university exams, what we call pan-Hellenic examinations. It's impossible. It's very difficult to be successful in these exams without private tutoring centers. So it means a great cost for a family budget. If we talk about school holidays in Greece, include Christmas, Greek Independence Day, Easter, of course, National Anniversary Day, 3 months summer holiday from mid-June until mid-September. We had summer holiday, national public holidays and local holidays. The key features, as I said before, is the provision of free education to all citizens at all levels. Centralized, as I said before, the central administrative body for education is the Ministry of Education because it takes the key decisions related to long-term objectives. It regulates various issues such as curricula, content, staff recruitment, and funding. The regional level that I mentioned before, and the local level. So education in Greece is compulsory for all children between the ages of 4 and 15. Education system is divided into early education and care for children up to the age of 6, primary education for school children between the ages of 6 and 12, secondary education for teenagers between the ages of 12 and 18, higher education for those wishing to attend university courses, and finally, lifelong learning, which caters for adult students of all ages. So primary schools welcome children of the age of 6. Some of these schools are termed as model, experimental or model schools because they carry out experimental education practices, and they are supervised by university departments specializing in pedagogics or primary education. And there are also primary schools which cater for students with physical or mental impairment or special needs. In all these types of primary school, students learn basic skills in a number of subjects like language reading and writing, environmental studies, maths, and English also. English language has been integrated in the school curriculum already in the preschool age here in Greece very recently. So here you can see on special education also, there is this a diagram which shows more, which is shows all these levels, all the categories in Greece, levels of education, the structure of the Greek education system. And if we talk about secondary education, by law, all students graduating from primary education enroll and attend courses in the junior high school. There are several types of junior high schools here in Greece. You can see we have evening junior high school, especially for those children, students who work in the morning, or experimental junior high school, model, music, arts, multicultural, because we have a great number of refugees, refugee children here in Greece, so we have a multicultural school also. And the same happens in special education, it has all these same categories. Although upper level secondary education is not compulsory in Greece, most students attend high school in general. So at this level, students may choose to attend general high school or experimental general high school or model general high school. And students for former countries, I mentioned before, can enroll in multicultural high school. And Greek high schools offer a combination of general education courses and advanced placement courses. So students who wish to pursue studies in higher education take Panhellenic exams, I mentioned before, in a specific number of advanced placement courses, which fall into specific categories like humanities, science, medical studies, finance, and computer science studies. These Panhellenic exams, university exams, are considered to be very tough and highly competitive exam processes that students go through in order to ensure education at a high level. And this system has been a long time accused because it causes psychological problems to students. We have students who have suicide because they failed in this kind of exams. Very, very stressful exams. And I think the concern of every new government in Greece, of every new minister, is how to handle this, how to reform these Panhellenic exams, which allow the entrance to the university. Vocational education, we will talk about this later, special education training, which is actually not attractive in Greece, because in Greece there's this misconception of families and parents who want their children to, you know, to get a diploma, bachelor degree from higher education institutions. And they think that technical vocational education is not attractive, and they have this misconception that this won't give the children the necessary status that they dreamed of. The higher education, now from the age of 18 years old, and after we have a university, technological education institution, School of Pedagogical Technological Education, it's about arts, a School of Fine Arts also, the first one was about technological education, another for fine arts, and Hellenic Open University, it's actually those who provide a virtual university. Higher education is the last level. The most undergraduate degree programs take 4 academic years of full-time study. Postgraduate courses last from 1 to 2 years, usually or 2 years. Doctorates at least the minimum is 3 years. So the higher education comprises the university sector I mentioned before, what we call Panepistimi here in Greece, universities, polytechnics, the School of Fine Arts, and the technological sector, the technological education institutions, and also all these technological education institutions that have merged with higher education institutes. Another reform in Greece is the institution which is called Second Chance Schools. What are these Second Chance Schools? These are innovative public adult education schools of 2 academic years duration. These those who attend these courses at school, they get a certificate equivalent to a secondary school diploma. And however, this school curriculum differs from the normal education because it's more flexible and it follows an adapted teaching methodology and assessment of trainings. Who can attend the second chance schools target people above 18 years old who have not completed, who didn't have the chance to complete the compulsory secondary education. So the institution of Second Chance Schools is a European program within the framework of the fight actually against social exclusion. These schools aim to offer adults opportunities to enter again the education and training system, to form a positive attitude towards learning, to acquire basic knowledge and skills, enhance their personality, and finally facilitate the access to labor market. So it's something which actually gives a second chance to these people, and that's why it's called Second Chance School. And a great part of the school system is lifelong learning, which was promoted by the European Union. We have what we call lifelong learning centers, and the Second Chance Adult Education School that I mentioned before, a vocational education. So, vocational training schools, lifelong learning centers, second chance schools, so these are a part of lifelong learning. And I mentioned before about the technical vocational education, which something has started now to take more importance and more glamour, we could say, because especially during the COVID pandemic, the European Commission put forward an ambitious agenda to guide COVID recovery efforts in the fields of employment and social policy. The focus is on technical and vocational education. Why? Because this kind of education is the key element of lifelong learning systems, equipping young people with knowledge, with know-how, with skills and competencies required in particular occupations and more broadly in the labor market. And we'll know that this kind of education responds to the needs of the economy because it's a driver for growth. It prepares for green and digital transitions and occupations in high demand. It's an attractive choice based on modern digitalized provision of training skills. So initial and continuing vocational education and training are part of the lifelong learning. Flexible and permeable pathways should be in place between both initial and continuing vocational education and training, general education and higher education. So during the COVID pandemic, the European Union put forward 12 actions aiming to support partnerships for skills, for upskilling, reskilling, and empower lifelong learning. A major deliverable was the Pact for Skills, which was launched in November 2020 during the European Vocational Skills Week. And the aim of this pact was to mobilize various stakeholders to upskill or skill people of working age through partnerships. Greece is trying to align with European policies. As I said before, in my country, the Greek system of vocational education and training, I said it's not adaptive, and it underwent actually major restructuring during the years. The past few years have seen important changes in vocational education training in Greece. Among other developments, new institutions have been set up, innovative programs have been implemented, the social partners have taken on a more active role, certification also processes have been changed to conform more closely to European standards, and curricula have been modernized. But of course, we need to ensure that vocational education training is agile. That means that it should adapt swiftly to labor market needs and provides quality learning opportunities for young people and adults alike. So it needs urgent reforms and strong focus on the increased flexibility, reinforced opportunities for what we call work-based learning and what we call apprenticeships. These schemes are very popular. We have also in Germany the so-called dual learning, which is for students who work at the same time. Um, so all these learning programs, of course, should offer a balanced mix of educational, including technical skills, should be offered through a mix of open digital participative learning environments, should be relevant, very important, so updated. Providers for vocational education training should be in line with the national context, of course, and provide a certain degree of autonomy and flexibility to trainers. Also, all these schemes that I mentioned before, apprenticeship schemes, need to be expanded and developed in order to stabilize the offer of apprenticeships. So these programs should be learner-centered, offer access to face-to-face blended learning, to offer flexible modular pathways, and of course, mobility, unique opportunities for learning mobility. For staff, for vocational learners, including virtual mobility or long duration mobility to developing countries also. And at the same time, we need clear and user-friendly information, learning and career opportunities. So this program should be inclusive, accessible for vulnerable groups such as people with disabilities, with low qualified, people with minorities, people with migrant background, and to develop supportive programs that target early stage venture. So recent reforms in the Greek educational system in Greece from actually 1950 until nowadays, the decisions about education have been made by the current education systems. The Ministry of Education has the responsibility. The system has the highest administrative structure in the area mentioned before. And this status formed what we call a hierarchical education policy system in which the last step is the school unit, which is considered as the core of education. The principal is at the top of the hierarchy in the school unit, followed by the vice principal and the teaching staff. So the educational institutions that operate in each region are run by training directorates that differ accordingly at each level of education, and the way school units are organized, as well as the way teaching staff is appointed and promoted, are not different from school to school. The content also of the curriculum and textbooks, which are distributed free of charge in public schools, are the same in all schools. We have what we call the Pedagogical Institute, Institute of Pedagogical Policy, which is responsible for the development of the curriculum programs and for the writing of textbooks. So during the years, we have many reforms in the education system. And if we talk about from 2019 and after, we can mention establishment of new special education units, which is a great reform. We talk about also strengthening the network of school libraries in primary education. It was suggested also by law, the National Certificate Native for Lower Secondary Schools, Grade C, and the school guide for which was provided to school community. We talk about parents, we talk about guardians of students of public pre-primary and primary schools across the country. So this guide has had the aim to support cooperation, effective communication and dialogue between family and school, and expansion of the network of school libraries and primary education schools. It was another funding program. planning of evaluation of educational work of school units, reduction of the number of pupils in primary education classes. This was another great reform. The rules for procedure for educational counseling support centers. We have a center, education counseling support center, which actually replaces the differential diagnosis. It's about special education needs. And the mission is to support the work of school units and student population. During the COVID pandemic 2020, from the measures, I think more or less most countries have did the same. We try to guide the children how to protect themselves, how to use masks, washing hands. And during the COVID pandemic, our what we call digital infrastructure, the digital school in Greece was upgraded. Because there was a big increase in the use of platform tools from both teachers and students. It was increased also the number of lesson plans which were uploaded in classes in the IMI platform. The IMI platform here in Greece contains a great number of learning objects, lesson plans and activities which are uploaded by the teachers. So it's a huge project. It's actually the Greek national policy for digital education content. This is the digital school. And what are the key actions of this project is how to provide all textbooks for all subjects digitalized, but not only we have interactive textbooks and learning resources, at the same time, these textbooks are enriched with many digital tools, many digital interactive activities, many click and play interactive learning resources. The main principle of this digital school in Greece is that we try to develop a number of open, reusable learning objects which cover a wide spectrum of various educational objectives of primary and secondary education. They have also the interactive books portal. And our main concern is to promote open educational resources. So focus on create reusable units of learning, promote open educational resources, promote reusing, remixing, and repurposing of existing digital resources, improve digital infrastructure, and promote the active role, of course, of teachers. In Greece, but also in other countries, we have what we call learning repositories. Learning repositories, we have here what we call Photovedro learning object repository, which actually constitutes an ecosystem. It includes Photovedro video, hosts short language educational videos. It hosts also learning resources which are developed by teachers also. And it also includes the content aggregator. Content aggregator actually what does accumulates in Harvard's educational metadata from various repositories and collections, museums, libraries, and other resources. This is why it's called aggregator. Of course, during the COVID pandemic, the main challenge was how to deliver distance education. The IT companies Cisco, Google, and Microsoft have offered for free the digital platforms to the Ministry of Education. Special ICT applications, learning techniques were used. Also, the ministry provided to the privileged children free tablets and mobiles. This Photovedro learning object repository is open to everyone, teachers, parents, students. It hosts open learning objects, as I mentioned before, which are small and functionally autonomous, reusable, open educational resources tagged with educational metadata. The synchronous teaching during the COVID pandemic was done through WebEx services, through the School Networks platform, and also during the COVID pandemic, the educational television was also reactivated for students in primary education. What are the challenges? First challenge was, of course, the privacy risks. With online teaching cannot replace real classroom teaching, but we all know this. In Greece and Europe in general, we have many cases of cybersecurity, cyberbullying. We are second high rate in comparison to other European countries for cyberbullying and also for internet addiction. Misinformation, what we call infodemic, and also inappropriate data collection. So another great reform, it's very, very recent here in Greece, it's called the Skills Lab. It's a new cognitive discipline. It's a new subject, actually, which is introduced in primary, secondary education. And it actually introduces a new thematic sessions, optionally. The aim is to strengthen the fostering of soft skills, of life skills, digital and science skills to young people. So what are these thematic sessions? This comprises for the first time STEM and robotics, environmental awareness or sexual education. Many new thematic sessions which are very relevant and very important to be explored nowadays. This was Skills Lab was the first reform in 2020. Another one had to do with the school upgrading and other provisions. I will talk about how we introduced skills labs in English language in kindergarten, I mentioned before. The assessment evaluation, the model experimental schools also were reformed. Take measures about school safety, regulations against school bullying. And many other reforms. And if we talk about model schools have actually this aim to develop innovation to put in effect pilot study programs, teaching methods and new teaching material, create groups and researchers, and of course to select and motivate the students with talents and special learning skills and abilities. On the other hand, we have also experimental schools. Experimental schools promote research and creative activities, the pilot implementation, experimentation study programs. They disseminate experimental teaching practices through organization of seminars and conferences, and they're usually monitored by universities. In 2021, we tried to upgrade the school empowering teachers, so have a free choice of school materials for the first time in Greece from approved school textbooks is introduced and recommended in order to replace the single textbook. We have autonomy in terms of student assessment tests. And there is a possibility also to organize educational peer groups. Diagnostic efficiency tests are introduced, of course, in alignment with the PISA test standards. All schools also have a website with free access. And the curriculum also was modernized and upgraded. Emphasis is placed on critical thinking, experiential approach. Digital skills also are cultivated. So 21st century labs, which promote creative thinking, social accountability, environmental awareness, well-being. As I mentioned before, the Skills Lab contains all these new thematical sessions, which are optional, about environment, about life skills, technology, engineering, STEM, as I mentioned before, robotics. For the first time, our ministry last year provided all schools, primary schools, secondary schools with robotics equipment. So now all schools have the possibility to implement amazing STEM projects. We talk about the evaluation, a re-evaluation of how to assess. The assessment is also put in place. Teachers and education managers achieving high performance ratings are awarded points where they fill management positions. And we have positions for supervisor of quality education, which are established on regional level. Here is what I said before, 2022. We have another reform, which is called all-day primary school, day kindergarten, which now include robotics, experiments, rhetoric, issue large crafts and constructions, musical instruments. Reforms about the national diagnostic examinations, about our textbooks, the initial stage of implementation of the reform that we call multi-book, as I said before, the autonomy, the possibility to choose from different books, the content, and not only to be based on a single textbook, which was happening for many years here in Greece. And this, of course, destroyed the autonomy and the freedom of teaching practices. Because the multi-book, of course, enables teachers to choose a textbook they wish to teach from the classroom. At the same time, all approved textbooks are available in digital libraries so that students may combine knowledge from different sources of information. At the same time, we have reforms about prevention to violence and bullying that I mentioned before. Actions and programs included the preparation of scientific research, establishment of collaborations between different stakeholders, a development of relevant actions programs with campaigns, and other important activities and initiatives. And I mentioned before about the big drawback of education system, not only in Greece but also in other countries, as I know, is what we call a shadow education system. It's all these education activities that occur outside formal schooling. The target, of course, to help children, but in Greece, shadow education exists as a parallel institution. And coexist with formal legitimate education system. This means that parents have to spend a lot of money in order to offer a high quality education to their children. This usually is a sign of low quality education system. This shouldn't happen. But the reality is that these private tutoring courses, in parallel with public courses, have become an institution somehow, an informal institution. At the same time, the main challenges for the Greek government is to how to integrate into Greek society all arrived refugees and other migrants who remain in the country. We have a result of immigration. We have after the war also between Russia and Ukraine, many refugees are here in Greece. The majority of them are children and youth. So we have many cases, also many challenges. I think the most pressing issues is the communication between teachers and refugee children. A considerable number of refugee children have not attended school for several years because their home countries are at war and everyday routines, including education, were interrupted long ago. There are other cases of children who, due to special circumstances, although they are at school age, they have never attended school. There are no usually textbooks or teaching materials suitable for refugee children. There are also vacancies in teaching staffing. We don't have enough teaching staff specialized in this. The wage also, their wage is low. The number of children who attend these classes are not stable, and of course, refugee children over 15 years old are more in danger in finding themselves marginalized because they will soon have to integrate in the labor market and without any qualifications. And we have the local communities who are usually misinformed about the refugee crisis. Some of them are afraid that refugee children carry diseases. Well, it's not true because in practice, these children are vaccinated before they were sent to school. So we need a confirmation campaign also about all this misconception. The school advisors should be, of course, trained first. And in Greece, we have some reforms which concern, we have reception classes operating in Greece the past years in education priority zones. In order to complement educational services to refugees and to prepare them for the creation of the Greek education system. We have reception educational programs for refugee children up to 15 years old and other types of classes for refugees. So that could be, of course, ideas for interventions. Of course, efforts to integrate children below 5 years old. This should be reinforced. A wide publicity campaign I mentioned before regarding refugee health issues would be useful in order to prevent reactions by local communities, which usually are fueled by ignorance, and to facilitate the integration of children to local units. And also refugee parents. Refugee parents should be persuaded to allow their children to participate in education, whichever form it takes. So these are also the parents also are responsible. Special education needs, sorry, here. Schools for special education, school units, school classes which operate either individually or as branches of other schools and hospitals, rehabilitation centers, youth education institutions, and if necessary is also home tutoring is allowed due to severe temporary chronic conditions which are not allowed for displacement and attendance of the students in schools. We have the Centers for Disciplinary Assessment, Counseling and Support, which are responsible for registering, classifying, and placing students in the appropriate learning environment. The evaluation reports describe the kind of special needs or learning difficulties. So reports describe the skills, social competencies, and interest, and according to this report, they suggest a suitable program, intervention program. So apart from this, we have a special vocational education training workshops, which are for students who have difficulties in following the curriculum of secondary education, present disabilities or special education needs. I think this was, in general, I also want to say that the issue of education, especially for students with different linguistic and cultural background, it's something that involves not only these students who differ culturally or linguistically for the majority, it's something which concerns the whole of education at the micro level and the micro level in of the classroom. So this was the overview of the Greek education system. Of course, it's a huge chapter, but I'm trying to make it shorter. For any question, I'm here to discuss with you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new, which was our all intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Ma'am, our first question is from Liuteam. How does the Greek education system differ from other systems in Europe? Thank you in advance.
Yes. Okay, we can't make now a comparative analysis between Greece or, for instance, what happens in Germany or France in Europe. If we talk about higher education, there is an alignment. Greece follows the European policies in other countries also. I mean, we have 4 years for undergraduate students and 2 years for for master degrees, and 3 years at least for PhD. This is all European countries have to be aligned with this. More or less, Greece follows the European policies. However, I must admit that Greek education system lags behind usually other European countries. Our two main problems are the incompatibility of school knowledge and societal needs. We have many graduate students who have bachelor degrees and also master degrees and PhDs, but they are unemployed. That means that the education provided, the school education system does not prepare the student actually to a smoother transition for the labor market. And another problem, and the difference, is the low performance of public schools, which is shown in the tests, on the PISA tests. So this, because of these two problems, and as I said before, another issue is that every time we have a new minister, the policy changes. There is no continuity. There is no uniformity, a uniform education policies increase, and this is not good. So all these problems cause what I said before, the shadow education system, all these private cramming courses, which prepare students for the required qualification for university admission, very stressful exams. Despite all the criticism from the national organization, this position of Greece has not been improved. So this is the problem. The difference, we have more or less, all European countries have more or less the same education system in terms of structure. This is not the issue. The issue, difference has to do with quality, have to do the quality of public education offered, and how this education is aligned with the labor market. For instance, in Greece, we have the misconception that that the private sector should not be involved, or industries or private companies should not be involved with the public education, public sector, which is wrong. We all know nowadays that we should acknowledge the role of industry as an knowledge partner and research partner, and how it is important to in academia to collaborate with industries nowadays. Still in Greece, this is misconception, for instance. So another misconception said before, it's about vocational education. All parents want their children to have a bachelor degree from higher university, even if their children don't have these abilities and skills and competencies. They want the children, the children to be, bachelor degrees holders, and they don't. They feel that technical or vocational education is inferior, although maybe their children is very talented in vocational education. So we don't have enough people who are actually specialized in these fields. We don't have enough engineers, mechanical engineers. We don't have computer, we have enough programmers. All these misconceptions, of course, make the problem worse. I hope I can answer.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is for Bhanuradha. Hi, ma'am. How is Greece school system during pandemic?
Yes, it's what I mentioned before. We have here the National Infrastructure for Digital School, what we call Photodendro. It's a learning object repository, which hosts open, reusable, and actually open educational resources. And it allows, it's actually a repository with thousands of videos of learning resources, often learning resources, lesson plans, which are created by teachers and are uploaded by teachers. So a huge tank which was activated during the COVID pandemic. So during the COVID pandemic, the teachers could actually use a platform which is called EME. EME platform has characteristics of social media. It's like Facebook, but at the same time, it's educational, very restricted educational environment. And during the COVID pandemic, teachers and students could actually collaborate and communicate, could upload the content. Parents also could monitor the progress of their children. And apart from this, when we talk about platforms, apart from this, a digital school that I mentioned, WebEx was used. Microsoft WebEx were used for free, and our ministry also provided tablets and laptops and free internet access for the privileged children who didn't have the possibility to attend, because during the COVID pandemic, what was very, very clear in many countries was a digital divide. A digital divide was ignored. What was actually revealed during the COVID pandemic. And this gave the opportunity to countries to upgrade the digital infrastructure, education infrastructure, and to actually take serious radical measures in order to help underprivileged children. And also we have education television, which was activated for students in primary education. And this was in general, it was considered very successful all around the world. The way our government handled education in the COVID pandemic was considered successful. Of course, at first, initially, we had the complaints of teachers, I think in other countries too, who said that there were teachers who didn't know not even to switch on the computer. So they had to handle now the challenge of how to design, to design the distance learning programs. It's not easy, I can understand. Of course, there are at first the complaints from teachers who didn't have the necessary training. But as I said before, the COVID pandemic was an opportunity to bring forward the reforms that were needed, and they were hidden, actually. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, during the COVID pandemic, we activated this, but this is here to stay. So blended learning, I think, is the new trend now. Physical and online learning should go hand in hand. We don't know what other health crises we will have, what other challenges we will have. So we need to be ready and alert and not have the same complaints again next time in another same circumstances.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Ishaya. Ma'am, Rania, good evening. How are the requirements, academic qualifications for teaching in primary and secondary school respectively?
Yes. So if, for instance, you want to be a maths teacher or a French language teacher, you need to have completed a bachelor degree, to have a bachelor degree of 4 years in this subject, in each respective subject, history or geography or anything. And after this, usually we have a system which it's called, it's a system for substitute teachers. I mean, when you finish this, when you are a bachelor degree, then you can apply in a teacher's platform and you can choose some schools where you want to work with. Of course, this bachelor degrees should contain a pedagogical license, a license which allows you to be pedagogically competent in teaching. So if you have this pedagogical license and if you have bachelor degree, then you can apply in order to different schools or different areas. Usually you can't be in the center of the country. Usually you go to islands. This is very hard for substitute teachers because the laws are the salaries are very low. It's something that I forgot to say, that in Greece, the salaries of teachers, but not only Greece, all around the world, in Europe, are very low. We receive the lowest salary among all public officials, public employees, which is very wrong because teachers need motivation. We are facing so many challenges nowadays with our children, so we need motivation. So salaries should change. We need to upgrade the status also of teachers, which is also needs for upgrading. And you asked me about the qualifications, what I said before, bachelor degree, pedagogical license. Then we have this platform substitute teachers, and sometimes we have exams in order to be appointed. For instance, I passed exams, very difficult exams, in order to be appointed in secondary education. I was appointed for 4 years in a Greek island, very remote area from my house. So it was very difficult for me, hard to live financially. And then I moved to primary education, and then I managed to come to Athens, the capital. So I think that the situation, the conditions of teachers at least in Europe, it's not easy all around the world. So that's why European Union has to draw new policies in order uh, promote, equality training and help all these teachers to become more effective.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Flomi. Hi, ma'am. Why did girls in Athens receive little education?
Actually, we're talking about a period in ancient Greece where women, in general, in all ancient world, had a very low status, socially, educationally. They were not allowed to be educated. They considered as inferior creatures, not only Greece, but in most parts all over the world. We had some exceptions. We have a poetess called Sappho, which actually was very intellectual, and this is why it has remained a symbol here in Greece. But the normality was even the elite women, those who were rich, they were they were of a high quality status, even those that were not allowed to be educated. This has to do with these institutions and the values of this the status quo this period. And it took, of course, centuries to change. From ancient Greece till now, you know how many struggles women have given in order to achieve all these freedoms and these rights that we have now, all the feminist movements and all these things. In the past, it was very, very difficult. They were not allowed to work or not to be educated, anything. Yes, I see now that
Thank you so
from
much, ma'am,
in
for your answer.
thank you. In Kenya, I see a comment here that in Kenya also teachers are lowest paid. I think yes, in most countries all around the world are the lowest paid bike employees. This has to change. Anyway,
Ma'am, there is no more questions from our participants. So once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topic. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new day. Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Honorable ma'am, before we move to the next, if you want to leave this studio, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Then IGP Knowledge is time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. For some technical problem, we cannot continue the quiz session from our website. So to join the quiz session, you have to go www.slido.com and the quiz code is 1645644. I repeat the code 1645644. After a short video, we will start our quiz. IGP knowledge seeker, we are going to start our quiz session with 19 people, and our first question is: the Greek education system comprises of what construction levels? Option 1 primary and secondary, option 2 primary, secondary, tertiary. Option 2 is the right answer. 89% people are right here in the leaderboard. Leah is holding the first position. Our second question is: the Greek educational system is mainly divided into dash levels. Option 1 1, option 2 3.
আমি জানি যে গেম এটা আমার মনে করতেছে আমি জানি তো গেম এটা জিতার চেষ্টা করতে হবে
Option 2 is the right answer. 100% people are right here in the leaderboard. Alex is holding the first position. Our third question is: which are the main level in the Greek education system? Option 1 primary vocational training. Option 2 primary, secondary, tertiary.
এটাকে আমি আপনাদের দূরে রাখি এটা কথা বলে বর্ডারের মধ্যে সিকিউরিটি গার্ড দিবেন দেখবেন উনিও চক্কা দিয়ে মতো
Option 2 is the right answer. 95% people are right here in the leaderboard. Alex is holding the first position. Our fourth question is: the additional level of Greek education system has a training. Option 1 musical, option 2 professional.
এটা চক্কা মারছে পাঁচ জায়গা এই তো নিলে তোমার ছিল ছোট দানা ছিল তোমার এবার চক্কা মারলে
Option 2 is the right answer. 59% people are right here in the leaderboard. Alex is holding the first position. Our fifth question is: the Greek education system is mainly divided into how many levels? Option 1 those, option 2 trace.
মানে এটা এখন আমি যদি দেখতে দিছি না ওনা দুই আমি কেন দিছি না বেশি দুই এটা দিতে দেখো
Option 2 is the right answer. 100% people are right here in the leaderboard. Alex is holding the first position. Our sixth question is: the Greek education system includes 4 sections: primary, secondary, lower tertiary, and higher tertiary. Is it true or false?
আমার কি তার নলেজ হচ্ছে নাকি
Option 2 is the right answer. 73% people are right here in the leaderboard. Alex is holding the first position. Our seventh question is: the disadvantage of Greek education system are the private lessons that students attend for their exam. Is it true or false?
আমি বুঝে গেছি গেম মানে আমাকে মারা খাওয়ার জন্য কেন
এটা কেন হবে? Option 1 is the right answer. 59% people are right here in the leaderboard. Alex is holding the first position. Our eighth question is: in Greek education system, how many years lasts the primary education? Is it 5 or 6?
আচ্ছা কথা তুমি আসলে কি আমার বলা
Option 2 is the right answer. 96% people are right here in the leaderboard. Alex is holding the first position. Our second last question of the session is: the education system focus on the study of Asian, Greek, and Roman literature. It is individualism or humanism? Call to the online call. Option 2 is the right answer. 91% people are right here in the leaderboard. Mary is holding the first position. Our last and final question of the session is: the Greek are exploring the setting in North America. Is it true or false? Option 2 is the right answer. 57% people are right here. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group. Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group. Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz content certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill. Never stop learning, cause life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, try to go not a people of things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the alignment button, I can also thank all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you again in the next session. Thank you.